So, dito na tayo sa Module 6. Ay, mag-present. Yun. Okay. So, this module is about call for patriotism and nationalism. At the very first part of our lesson pa lang, na-define na natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng patriotism and nationalism. So, hindi ko na-explain yan. Okay. Allegiance to the country and constitution. So, how can we demonstrate our allegiance to our country? First of all, one must keep faith in the soundness of our system of government. Kailangan magtiwala tayo sa gobyerno natin, in our constitution, in our laws, and in the duly elected leaders of our country. If we do not have faith in those things, then hindi magiging matagumpay ang isang country and we won't be able to pledge our allegiance. Hindi, yun na nga, di ba? Kailangan may tiwala tayo. So we are, in that sense pa lang, we are already pledging our allegiance na etong gobyerno ko, pinagkakatiwalaan ko. Okay. Allegiance to our country does not mean simply professing love of our country and pride as a Filipino. Hindi lang basta proud ako, proud Pinoy. Hindi lang siya ganon. At di mo lang sinasabi na mahal ko yung bansa ko kahit kailan, hindi ko pagtataksalin yung bansa ko. It's not just that. What must be borne in mind as a Filipino is that being a citizen of the Philippines is a privilege because not all people here in the Philippines are citizens. It is a recognition of our rights to utilize the resources of our country and to be protected by our government. However, in return for enjoying the rights as a Filipino, for rights as a Filipino citizen, we must assume obligations to defend the country. Kailangan may ambag tayo, kailangan may partisipasyon tayo kapag kinailangan tayo, kinailangang i-defend ang ating bansa. So, sino ba ang mainly na nagde-defend sa ating bansa? And this are your military. Okay. According to President Manuel L. Quezon, on one hand, a nation of trained men ready to defend their country has the lasting respect of itself and of the world. And on the other hand, a nation of helpless citizens can expect nothing but slavery at home and contempt abroad. Yung tinutukoy na home dyan, hindi yung bahay nyo, yung inuutusan kayong maghugas ng plato, hindi yun. Yung tinutukoy dyan na home is our country, Philippines. Okay. Under the National Defense Act that was implemented during the Commonwealth era, the military service shall be obligatory for all citizens of the Philippines. Even women should receive such instruction and training as might be for performing auxiliary service. So when the time comes, nakakailanganin nga ng sundalong magde-defend sa ating bansa, we will be part of it. Especially kayo, nag-ROTC kayo, di ba? And for us na graduates ng ROTC, sabi nga, pati babae, hindi siya exempted kung kailangan i-defend ang ating bansa. So being a defender of the Constitution requires great sacrifice by giving up some personal privileges such as going beyond their place of comfort in order to serve the country. Yung mga military and even the police, dahil majority naman sa inyo, I believe, yan ang pangarap or yan ang goal niya sa buhay after graduating college. Hindi ka makakapamili talaga kung saan ka i-assign. Hindi pwedeng itaga-Angeles lang po ako buong buhay ko. Di ba po ako malis dyan? Kaya parang ayoko pong ma-assign sa ibang lugar. Di mo pwedeng sabihin yon. Bakit? Kasi nga, you are a defender of the Constitution. San ka man dalhin, dapat pumunta ka. Like, for example, in our family, ako, laking barracks ako. Military barracks. I learned how to read at General Santos City sa Mindanao because andun ang tatay ko naka-assign during that time. Doon nga, nung bata-bata pa siya. Doon kami uh, na-assign. And I even studied in Zamboanga for around 2 weeks ata or 2 months. Hindi ko na maalala, no? Kasi parang 3 pa lang ako noon o 4. Pero yun nga, nag-aral ako doon kasi nga kasama kami ng tatay ko habang siya naka-dispatch sa ibang lugar. But mind you ha, taga dito kami at ang bahay namin andito sa Pampanga dahil na-awardan kami ng bahay ng government sa Clark. Pero sumasama kami. So yun, hindi pwedeng magsabi, sir, may pamilya na po kasi ako, ayoko pong malayo sa kanila. Hindi pwedeng sabihin yun. Okay. Sana ako. Loyalty to the Constitution and Filipino people under one flag and concomitant willingness to give their life is the primary mission. So you, as a military officer, military personnel, or even a police officer, should be ready to give your life in order for you to do your job, to do your duty, to protect the Constitution. And one that requires a great deal of courage. Ibig sabihin, bawal ang duwag. Okay, loyalty. So this is defined as faithfulness, consistency, devotion, allegiance, and fidelity to one superior or duty, cause, or principle. It is the feeling of or sentiment, often strong or even enthusiastic, that as a virtue is intangible. Pag sinabing intangible, hindi mo siya mahawakan. Hindi mo siya literal na nakikita. You would be able to see it through actions of the people. So it exists as pervading spirit in a relationship as that of a people to a country, of man to people. A soldier must be loyal to the Constitution and not to the interest of one person. Rule of law, not rule by men. This is the core concept of democracy. So kung ano ang nasa batas, yun dapat ang ipatupad, yun dapat ang sundin. Hindi yung personal mo na kagustuhan, hindi yung personal mo na paniniwala. Tingin ko sir, mali itong nasa batas eh. O kahit na tingin mo mali yan, kailangan ipatupad mo pa rin yan as a military personnel. Okay. Obedience in military organization is very important. Pagsunod. It is defined as the submission to authority and willingness to obey. Lack of obedience will not only prejudice the interest of an individual, hindi lang ikaw ang mapapahamak, but can also defeat the welfare and objectives of the group to which they belong. Mapati yung organisasyon mo mapapahamak. Every well-organized group has a set of rules and regulations that must be obeyed by the members, and these rules are written under the Articles of War. Yan yung parang rule book ng mga military. Yan yung mga nakakasakop sa kanila na batas. Although these rules and regulations restrict or limit certain circumstances, they are not intended to harass or deny the freedom of action. Pwede ka pa rin namang kumilos kung ikaw ay sundalo. Ang sinasabi lang naman dyan sa Articles of War ay yung mga bagay na kahit kailan hindi mo pwedeng labagin. Okay. The rules are necessary so that the group can maintain order para mapanatili yung kaayusan sa isang organization, specifically the military. Kasi kung walang organization sa military, hindi kalat-kalat kayo. Magkakaiba kayo ng mga instruction na pinatutupad. Magkakaiba kayo ng instruction na sinusunod. And in turn, achieve its objective for the good of every member and the nation as a whole. Courtesy is the expression or manifestation of consideration for others. It is a virtue that is expected of all individuals from all walks of life. In the military, courtesy is a great requirement because it is the basis of military discipline. Pag sinabi kasing military courtesy, ito yung mga pagkakataon na iniintindi mo rin yung iba, iniisip mo rin sila. uh, in some sense, sinasama mo sila sa mga decision making mo. Okay. Furthermore, courtesy, once it is not observed wholeheartedly, the organization will lose its orderliness and may even disintegrate. Magkakagulo kayo, magwaka-watak-watak kayo. Furthermore, courtesy promotes good relationships as well as a closer coordination and teamwork among members of the organization. It makes the organization dignified and ensures good relations with the public because you are also public official. So, kanino ka naglilingkod? Sa publiko. Okay? Hindi ka lang basta nabubuhay para sa sarili mo. Nabubuhay ka para paglingkuran yung mga Pilipino, mga kababayan mo. So a soldier is not courageous. A soldier who is not courageous is not a fine and dependable soldier. Fear is a natural human emotion that takes place among unusual circumstances, especially in the face of imminent threat and danger. The real soldier, however, is one who can control fear and place duty above emotion. This is brought about by such motivations as love of country, pride in national heritage of bravery, and complete faith and loyalty in the cause that he or she is fighting for. So kung ano man yung pinaglalaban mo bilang isang sundalo, kailangan titiwala ka rin doon na ikaw din mismo talagang pinaglalaban mo. Okay? The acts of heroism among soldiers are not because of their lack of fear. Hindi yun dahil hindi sila takot. But because of their control over the normal human feeling of fear. Ang mga sundalo may dahil nga sa start ng training dinodoktrinahan na yan, ini-indoctrinate na sila para mabago na yung kanilang civilian mindset into a military mindset. That's why it is imperative that they are able to control their emotions, especially kung fear ang nararamdaman nila at that time. Then moral courage, fear of failure, criticism, and ridicule have often discouraged men from doing what is right, just, and noble. Okay, role of the police and other law enforcement agencies. The states shall establish and maintain one police force which shall be national in scope and civilian in character. Just take note that the police is different from the military. Ang military character talaga yon. Ang police, civilian character. Okay? To be administered and controlled by a National Police Commission. NAPOLCOM. The authority of local executives over the police units in their jurisdiction shall be provided by law, specifically in the 1987 Constitution. However, in times of national emergencies, the PNP, the Bureau of Fire Protection, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology shall, upon the direction of the President, assist the armed forces in meeting the national emergency. So, that means that the PNP, the BFP, and the BJMP personnel can be called by the President para ipagtanggol ang bansa, i-defend ang bansa, or in cases of other types of emergencies. But, ang tinutukoy dito is national emergency. Kailangan yun ma-declare. And itong mga nabanggit nga natin, PNP, BFP, BJMP, may be called upon by the President to assist in helping the military. Okay, so while it is clear that the PNP is a civilian in character, PNP forces be deployed in times of national emergency, which means they should also be ready to defend the country at any time. So, even the PNP would also do some type of military work kapag sinabi ng president, specific national emergencies. It is difficult to conceptualize civilian character in PNP considering that the so-called military mentality is still there. Yun nga yung pag-i-indoctrinate sa kanila. Okay? Most of the high-ranking officers are trained in military science, which urges them to implement military protocol in the organization, which may sometimes be cascaded down into the community. What they forget is that the police is the community and the community is the police. Ang police, nire-representa ang community. Ang community ay matatawag natin o masasabi din natin na police kasi tagabantay din sila ng mga pangyayari sa paligid nila. Thus, the police should be able to work closely with the community in order to gain their support. Role of citizens training in shaping the youth. So as mentioned, according to President Manuel L. Quezon, nation of trained men ready to defend their country has the lasting citizens training is aimed at improving and maintaining the spirit of cooperation so that the Filipino citizen will always work together to promote the welfare of the nation. Okay. Role of citizens training in shaping, Like many countries in the world, citizens training should start at the young age because it aims to inculcate love of country among the youth. Bata pa lang, tinitrain na nating mahalin yung kanyang bansa. Iparamdam kung ano ang pagmamahal sa bansa. The very first law promulgated by President Quezon was the National Defense Act, which laid down the defense policy of the Philippines. At that time, there was a preparatory military training and this was later changed to the Reserve Officer Training Course. Yun na yung subject kung saan kayo enrolled ngayon, ROTC. A compulsory course meant to last for 2 years. Due to some controversy, the ROTC became an optional course under the National Service Training Program. Sa NSTP kasi, merong 3 bahagi. ROTC, CWTS o yung CWATS or the Civic Welfare Training Service, and the LTS, Literacy Training Service, para sa mga eduk or para sa mga gustong makatulong sa mga bata, sa mga out-of-school youth, mga ganun. So, it was compulsory before. Kumbaga, ito lang dati ang meron at required kang kunin ito. But, since nagkaroon ng controversy, some argue that the ROTC did not serve its original purpose, resulting in its abolition. As of today, due to rising tensions in the West Philippine Sea, there are steps to bring back the original concept of ROTC, which is to prepare our youth to defend the country. Nagka-issue sa ROTC kasi merong mga binugbog and then namatay yung binugbog nila. Yun nga, kadete siya sa ROTC. After that incident, inabolish yung pagiging mandatory ng ROTC. So, optional na lang siya. Experts have discovered that the implementation of citizens training had been ineffective in the past. And the very purpose of citizens training, ROTC, is not to punish the youth, hindi para parusahan sila or make them suffer just to meet a requirement to graduate in college. Hindi yon ang purpose. Yung naging plain subject na lang siya na dapat mong maipasa para makagraduate ka. Its primary objective is to instill in the heart and mind of the youth the spirit of patriotism and nationalism. Through this character building exercise, they might be inspired to conduct some activities to attain a similar objective. Obedience, discipline, courtesy, and loyalty are among the characteristics that the youth should develop. So these are vital for the survival of the future generation of Filipinos. First is courtesy. Courtesy as an investment is intended not only for others but for one's own sake. Hindi lang para sa iba, para sa iyo rin. Rudeness and manners will surely destroy an individual kung pasmado bunganga mo. Hindi na huhulma yung mga kabataan sa nation building. Okay. One act of courtesy is to render a salute to higher authority. So kung saan ka man nagpupunta, kung military ka ha, at ikaw ay naka-uniforme, matik, na dapat saluduhan ka. Usually naman nagkakasalubong lang yan kapag nasa kampo. So yun, sasaludo ka, kilala mo man o hindi. And then discipline. Discipline develops mutual respect and goodwill among members of an organization. Without courtesy and respect among the members of the organization, discipline appears. As a result, there will be no peace and order in the organization and it will disintegrate. Magiging magulo. Okay, obedience. Nabanggit na rin to kanina. Leaders need to submit themselves to a stricter discipline than what is expected of others. Kung may pinaka-disiplinado sa inyong grupo, dapat yung leader. A great number of persons who have been acknowledged as good leaders are people who have learned the act of obedience. The person who has not learned to render prompt and willing service to others will find it difficult to win and keep control of his or her followers. Malilito ka rin sa dami na ng followers mo. Hindi ka pa, or kailangan matutunan mo nga na sumunod sa kung ano man ang utos sa'yo. The job of a good leader is to take the team to do the work needed to achieve its goals. Bilang isang leader, literal na taga-utos ka. Yun ang trabaho mo, mag-utos, mag-follow up. The job of a good leader, having delegated the tasks, the leader must then trust the member. Kailangan marunong din magtiwala yung iyong employer. Such an action implies the courage and readiness to back a subordinate to the end. And lastly, dito sa citizens training in shaping the youth is punctuality. Pagiging on time, hindi pwede ang Filipino time dito. So inability to observe punctuality in keeping appointments is in itself an act of discourtesy to others who are punctual. So dahil maaga ang iba, dapat ikaw din, maaga ka din dumadating kung saan ka man pupunta. Lack of promptness in doing one's work slows down not only individual progress, but also the operation of the bigger group to which the individual belongs. So, hindi ito para lang sa isang tao, hindi lang ito para sa'yo. Being punctual is also part of operations. Kung saan kung saan part yung individual na yun. And then we have promptness. It is expected of you to do your job at once, not to postpone it some other time. So, bawal mag-procrastinate. Otherwise, you are going to delay the whole work and thereby continue to the failure of the group to accomplish its task. Remember, the person who is prompt is not only helping, but also making him or herself an asset to the organization.